Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Mawai coming to you again out in the highway and the byway to bring out this gospel, this truth to edify the hopefully lack of Yasharala Israel, so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Indians whose seed line or whose bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to warn the two-thirds of our people to get out of Great Babylon, America. And it's always a pleasure to let Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, know that your time is up and the Lord Yahweh Shema is going to send his only begotten Son, who were ignorantly called Jesus Christ, the Mashiach, okay, to destroy you and set up a righteous, everlasting kingdom. Before we get started, let's turn to the east, give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Kadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise, brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and deep brothers and sisters, tuning in, Shalom. All right, okay, on location. I'm not going to reveal the location, but it's on location. And, you know, when you're dealing with people out here in the world, you know, let's say you're people you collaborate with on certain things, projects, so to be, or whatever. It's still shocking that even with everything that's going on, that people still have this mindset of a kingdom, you know, Great Babylon, America, lasting forever. You know, they'll ask you questions like, hey, you know, so-and-so, okay, slave name, you know, how do you see things in 5 years? And the first thing you know, as being a man in this ministry, in this truth, you want to say, what I see in 5 years, or what I hope is going to happen in 5 years. What I see in 5 years is a lot of people in pain and suffering. Okay, Great Babylon, America, fallen. Okay, the righteous elect hopefully beamed up on the chariot. Okay, and the Lord Yahweh shall finish judge this place. I don't see nothing good about this place in 5 years. But usually the answer that you will give, because you have to walk with wisdom in this world, is, oh yeah, things are gonna be good. Hey, what did you think about that boxing match last night? You know, and just push it off in that direction, okay? But it's also when you deal with our people, when they're oppressed, they're seeing the oppression, okay? Out in Great Babylon, America, homelessness, joblessness, you know, anger and strife amongst people, and yet still walk around with that pride. Dumb people, dumb poor people of our tribe walking around with dumb pride. And here it is, especially for those that are probably doing okay, they don't understand this ministry or this truth. This is James 4, and starting verse 4 reads, ye adulterers and adulterers, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with power? Whosoever therefore will be friend of the world is enmity with power. Okay, now you'll see some jakes, and you know, a lot of jakes are doing well. You know, You know, they had their own business. You know, they get things set up. You know, Esau might have propped them up in high positions in the corporate world, or whatever the case is like that. They've taken advantage of some skill set that they had, either working for a corporation or what they just naturally have, and they're doing well. And so, of course, what you're seeing amongst our people is that hatred that's coming towards, you know, the man of the Lord, okay, or what they like to call the black Hebrew Israelite. Now, I'm going to ask this question here to you jakes out there, okay, and this is not for the hopefully lack of those of us who are awake, okay, this is for those out there who still believe that some way, somehow they can go and join hands with Esau. What is the end thing that's going on right now in Great Babylon, America? You're hearing something called black fatigue. Now, we know that there's no such thing as a black person, okay? You know, this shirt, you know, or this t-shirt I'm wearing here, the sleeve of it is black. And you can see my skin is clearly not black. But for the sake of ignorance in this doggone wicked society and how the world refer to us, let's just say, okay, they refer to us as black people. So whether you're a light-skinned Jake or a dark-skinned Jake, they're referring to us, okay? And what you're seeing right now is the blatant, okay, anger and hatred coming from these Edomites, okay, that's saying, you know what, we're sick and tired of you complaining, we're sick and tired of you whining, we get our own issues, okay, we are the victims now. We're the ones that's being victimized right now, and you people are racist. You know, you want to go out there and you want to call us crackers and honkies and all that stuff, and then when we say nigga, you're offended by it, like screw you. And you've seen that in that example with that woman, that Edomite or the Shedemite that referred to that young Jake as a nigga baby. I mean, she didn't care. She didn't care that it was filmed. And you know who else didn't care? The rest of the doggone Edomites here in Great Babylon, America. And it wouldn't surprise me that there were so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos who actually donated money to her. Remember, she made what, $750,000 in a matter of a week so that she could move because she was getting death threat. It wouldn't shock me that there were Jakes that actually hit that donate button and donated money to her because they emphasized with her cause. Because deep down, a lot of our people actually really hate each other. They really do. And they will do anything as an opportunity. They're deep down. Someone that looks just like you hate you. Absolutely hate you. Okay? And when we say about the so-called white man coming with great wrath upon the children of Israel, we're not saying that in a way of hating you. We're telling you what's written in the scripture, okay? And we're seeing it right now being built up, okay, through the attitude and the actions of these people and the words that are coming out of their mouth, and the way this devil is moving the setup, okay, because he's an antagonist and a protagonist. The so-called white man is the guy that's the bad guy, and he's also the good guy, because when he does bad, he then plays victim afterward. So he's an antagonist and a protagonist. Okay, very frustrating, very confusing. Okay, for those who don't have the eyesight to see through the bullshit of this doggone man. So let's go into the book of. Let's continue on with that. Okay, because if you're accepted into this world, it's something that you really have to be concerned about. If you're accepted, if suddenly you're being liked, okay, and this is not about like when the ways of a man is pleasing to the Most High, he will make his enemies say that his enemies, be good towards him. Roughly paraphrasing. This is about you suddenly thrust into kind of like a mini stardom, and people are kind of really grooving towards you. And I'm talking about wicked people. That might be you might want to consider that being a problem. Okay, that being a problem, because that means you function as they do, because people they accept you because you're one of theirs. Okay, so let's go into the book of Isaiah. Actually, let's go into the book of John 15, the book of John 15. Okay, and let's talk about what happens. Okay, what happened during the time of the Mashiach when he was down, because we're walking, doing this ministry, not knowing if we're chosen or not, but at the same time, because we walk by faith, we have to believe that there's a deliverance in the end. This is the book of John 15, down verse 18, and it reads, "If the world hated you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own, but because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you." So think about this. If you were of the world, think about it. If you were of the world, if the world hated you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. So that's comforting, because the Mashiach, who we're going to call Jesus Christ, was hated before we were set up to go on this ministry. So he was hated, but he overcame. Okay, and then he says here, if you were of the world, this is comforting here. If you were of the world would love his own. So if you're being hated because of this truth, that means you're not of the world. That means you're him. You're his. So that part of that hopeful, being part of the hopeful leg, this should be the part that's really comforting. You're getting that hate. That's a validation that the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai has chosen you out of the world. Okay, because you're getting that hate, and it's not that hate of the children of Israel. It's that hate because of this word, this truth. Okay, it's true. Continue, it says, "But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world." Take your mind out of the world. We can't take ourselves physically out of this world. That's going to happen when we're taking out these mortal flesh and being up on the chariots. So then we're going to be taken physically out of the world, but we're mentally taken out of the world, even though we walk amongst these people, okay, that are committing all of the transgression, okay, and just living in that spirit, that carnal spirit 24/7, and not even trying to fight it. All right, it says, But I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you, and that's why they hate us. Remember the word I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will persecute you. If they have kept my sin, they'll also keep yours. And why you think is it right now that you're seeing video after video is being made, okay, of Jake Stem speaking against the black Hebrew Israelites, okay? In fact, they actually going on about the black Hebrew Israelite more than Esau, man. More than Esau. They really absolutely hate this, because at the end of the day, Jake them need to blame somebody. Blame somebody. And our people like to blame each other. Our people like to blame each other. They like to blame anybody that they really feel like they could maybe do something to. There's no repercussion. You don't see them out there blaming the doggone devil. You saw the Edomite, the so-called white man. They ain't going out there making special videos for that. They're making blatant videos, man, led by Eve, okay, so-called black woman, okay, in regards to how we are racist, you know, how we teach separation, which you should be separated. When we wanted to integrate with Esau before each and every one of us came into this truth, and I can speak for myself personally, you pursue the education, you pursue all the degrees and the certifications and the skill set and all of that stuff, and what happened? You'll get rejected, laughed at in interviews, and just blatantly just played with. Our people march for decades trying to integrate, break down segregation. Now that our people are waking up and there's a great awakening, all of a sudden, oh, it's discrimination. All of a sudden, oh, we're racist. But what happened to all those times when life was great and dandy, that our people, you know, with tears in their eyes and watching around with us and singing Kumbaya and we should overcome, you know, you didn't want nothing to do with it. Y'all made fun of it. Y'all sat down, drank back your doggone Pepsi, your Coke, you know, popcorn, and go, why are these niggas always making noise? But now that the Lord is now judging this place, starting with doggone the low-level Edomites, okay, and along with the wicked doggone Jakes them that have joined them, you know, mentally and physically. All of a sudden, when you have men like us who the Mashiach has propped up to preach the everlasting gospel, his gospel of what he's going to do and with the judgment that's going to come here, and the great things that's going to happen, okay, for his chosen people, which is the so-called blacks and Americans and Latinos whose seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All of a sudden now, oh, y'all are bad people. Y'all don't want to work together to help build America and make America great again. No. What is that scripture say, roughly paraphrasing? It says, we would have healed great Babylon, America. We would have healed Babylon. We would have. But see, y'all never wanted that. Y'all never wanted to be healed. The true people, the people with the true skills, y'all trying to deport them. Y'all have thrown them in prison, okay, and just murder them out in the street. That's us. And in place, what you have is a bunch of doggone dumb, unqualified, uneducated, you know, self-indulging, okay, entitled Edomites and sitting in these corporations, and these corporations are falling, and y'all still don't look in the mirror and go, it's y'all fault, because you know what skill to begin with to run it. How do you people think, okay, you're gonna go from the caves and because you paint some painting and change the images of the prophets and the dignitaries of the Bible, and the Bible, that you're somehow going to have a kingdom that's going to be everlasting. Okay? No. The Lord is taking your wisdom away from you. And in place, he's putting anger and hatred, because the Lord's will will be done here on this earth. And one of those will, okay, is going to be the destruction of Great Babylon, America. But before that happens, you're going to have a lot of plague and tribulation, okay, civil unrest, and you're going to have angry people clashing with each other. All right? But the deal is this: the man of the Lord is not going to falter at all in the face of all of this. Yes, we understand what's at stake here, because we've been told, and we truly and heartily believe that. This is the reason why when you have someone coming to you and going, well, where do you see 5 years from now? You know, I mean, you really, you know, in your early days, you know, you would have answered and go, you know, you would say something like that could, you know, strike an angry chord in that person. But now you're walking with a little bit more wisdom, because you're a little bit more experienced. Okay, you just, I don't know, and deflect the conversation, because there's no point in casting pearls before pigs and swines. And these people are just animals, man. Really, they're just useless animals. And pretty much they're going to get what they're going to get. Okay, this is Matthew 10, starting verse 32. The book of Matthew 10, and starting verse 32. And this is not the time, you know, to be all fearful or feel like, you know, maybe this isn't for you, you know, and you know, and you already have among certain people, certain members, you know, there's a lot of backstabbing and all those things going on. You know, everything will work its way the way it needs to work and reveal who is who. Okay, it says, "Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess before also my Father which is in heaven," which is why we always talk about the name. We are not bowing down with no 503 Charlie, okay, or, you know, mincing our words just to appease everybody out there. We will give you the name that the people know the Hamashiach by. Okay, they call him ignorant. That's why we say ignorantly called Jesus and God. But then we're going to give you that proper name, because at some point in time you will have to call upon those names in order to be saved. Okay, and I will go into that, you know, concerning that judgment that's going to come on the 2/3, and they don't know the name because they ignorantly keep calling on these false deity and these idols, okay, just to be rebellious. But then again, they was never called to know anyways. But we have to do our job, and our job is in this ministry is to let you know who the true power is. Yahweh Baha Hashem Yahweh. You have to know, okay, the Almighty is Yahweh, okay, and the Son, who is our Redeemer, okay, is Yahweh Shai. You have to know that. We don't hesitate to say that. We don't hesitate to say it at all. Okay, it says, but it says, "Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven." We're being watched. I can't see the angels standing around me right now, but I know they're watching me. They're watching my every move and everything I talk. Okay? And, you know, you're in this flesh and you mumble and grumble about every doggone thing, you know? It's just what you do. But at the same time, too, okay, are you out there confessing the name of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, what he's all about, to fear him, to glorify him? Or this is about pleasing, you know, the fleshly man, the earthly man, okay, that might be able to come and slam you on the ground, beat the crap out of you, throw you in some prison hole. Be Esau, you've been and done that. I mean, if the Lord was right now to open our mind up and let us see what Esau has done to us when we was crossing the Atlantic Ocean, some of us were probably on those boats. Okay, and let us feel that for a moment, what it was like to be cramped up like sardine in that boat. Okay, and then also when we regenerated back over here, okay, some of us died on the way here when we regenerated back over here to go live on those plantations and get beaten and whatever else this man has done to us. That would be lightweight in compared to what getting thrown in one of these doggone prison system, man. That'd be lightweight in comparison. That'd be lightweight. But out of the mercy, the Lord don't allow us to remember those things. Okay? It says, but whosoever shall deny me before men, which is IUIC, ICPK, and a lot of these other ones, and also these other Christian churches. Okay, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. A couple of weeks ago, I had what looked like a Latino couple stop at my camp, and then they, you know, the man, the husband, he subscribed. You know, he had limited kind of like English. One of the things that he asked was, "Do I believe in Jesus?" And he asked his wife to ask me that. Do I believe in Jesus? Then I explained to him the proper name and who the world ignorantly called Jesus. Okay. Then I also showed him the picture of, you know, what we use for Yahweh Shai, which is what the image of. It's described what he looks like. He had like wool, white. Okay. It tells you his skin tone is like bronze, which when you look at the color of bronze, what color is it? It's kind of like a dark color, a dark brown color. Okay, the book described the Father and the Son, but when you show that to these Hebrew Israelites that image of Caesar Borgia ingrained into their head, they can't get it out of their head, and it's in all of our head. Oh yeah, it's in all of our head, but we know it's false. He couldn't accept that. He unsubscribed. He unsubscribed about a week and a half later, because he realized what they don't want to hear is this: if you could speak on this about the Hebrew Israelite, but position the white Jesus there, but somehow blend in the so-called white people, integrate them with our salvation, integrate them with our heavenly rewards, then they could accept that. Then they could accept that. But when you, because they look down on you, especially when you're a so-called Negro. And, you know, the Lord set it up the way you have dark skin, and, you know, there's men that are great amongst us, you know, they're popular, they're very knowledgeable, you know, our elders, obviously our apostles, okay, and then other brothers that have different skills. We all come from different backgrounds, okay, so we bring different kind of skills in the way we bring things out. Some brothers are more animated, others are just more reserved and more, you know, they don't like to be seen, you know, or reserved, and that's just the way it is. All right, but these people, they want you to go out there and talk about everybody integrated, and it's not popular. They don't like the fact that you, me, someone that look like me, dark-skinned black man, you, who the society despise. Okay, here you are. You're kind of one of the more desirable men in the world. We age very slow. We're strong even in our elder years. We're still strong. We still get muscle tone, single-digit body fat, all that stuff. Very athletic and fit. Okay, so your physical attribute is outstanding. You know, that's how judo is. Outstanding. Athleticism, everything. Excel at all those things. But at the same time, too, because we are not the face of corporate America. We are not the face on the Time magazine, except unless it's for some abominable act. Okay, we're not the face of what the world called greatness. Okay, and we are often described as just, you know, hustlers, criminals, nothing. They look at you like, how dare you put the face, or make the face of Jesus, as they like to say, a so-called black man, and that he's coming for people that look like him, okay, a respectable bird, but he's coming down, okay, to take down their God, their idol, Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. And despite the fact that every president that stepped into the White House, into the wicked seat, have done nothing but trample on our people, they still will not repent from that way of thinking. And so they become offended. They're deeply offended. And you know why they're deeply offended? Because it's coming from our mouth. If I was a so-called white man standing up here right now, okay, and the Hamashiach was a white man, and I'm a white man teaching that white people are going to have the heavenly kingdom and all this other stuff like that, the world accepted. That's what Christianity is all about. We truly believe at one point in time, before we find out about the 1948ers and how that really went down, that's just the state of Israel and not the kingdom of Israel. We truly believe that those people are, you know, at least I can speak for myself, believe that those were the chosen people. But there was something that was off about it. How's everybody a Jew over there when there's 12 tribes? Makes no sense. Where's the 12 gates? And you start to go on as you start to hear about, you know, how this deception came upon on the earth. You start asking those questions, and yet still they won't address it. It makes no sense. They won't address that. And this scripture is killing. Brothers, you better believe that this scriptures is killing. It's killing these people. You know, you might not seem like you feel like you're anybody. You know, you might do videos that get like 10 views or 5 views or even 1 view. But don't be discouraged, okay? Because the reward that we are going to get comes later. All right, let's go into. Let's continue on here. It says, "Think not I come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword." So the Mashiach ain't coming back to hand out candies and stuff like how they portray it. No. So we can see right now the sword is already sent. The peace is being taken away. all you hear, it's shocking that people don't even follow the news, man. They don't follow the news. In the congregation of the hopefully elect, you know who the news, where the news comes from? Brothers. We have brothers that go into prophecies and news. You know, you have brothers that go into the older history. They're more acclimated with that. They're more knowledgeable with that, so they can delve into those things. You have those who go into the modern day news. Those who might go into things that pertains to certain things that you may experience in your personal life. That you have many of the elders and the brothers go into, dealing with women and what to watch out for right now in this time where a lot of these women are coming in very deceptive ways in order to try to get you, because right now they're feeling the pain of Esau rejecting them now. Esau is saying, look, I don't need you no more. It's time to end the pony show. We're ready to bring on the new world order, and we don't need you anymore. We're going to take away your welfare, and that's the Lord Yahweh Shemashah saying He's going to take away the state and staff of from Yasharallah or from Israel, us. Okay, and this is part of that humbling process, and we're going to see that humbling process become much more evident. And so we're being warned, like, don't fall for the alligator tears and stuff, because they're looking for. It's kind of like that girl that breaks up, and then she wants to get with you because she's trying to come up with doggone different ways to distract her from, the person that she really have a heart for, who might have rejected her, or who might have dumped her, or they set part. But they call them rebound. You become the rebound, but she doesn't really have any loyalty to you. She don't really care about you. Okay, and sooner or later, if that person comes back and go, hey, I'll take you back, she runs back to him. Because that's very how hard it really is. So basically the same thing with these doggone women right now. They may be catching hell, go and they cry on TikTok and blah, blah, blah. And if you fall for that, what ends up happening? She's going to just bide with you for a second like that until she figures out that she can get back into the world and be what she really naturally was, which was a rebellious whore. All right? It said, for I come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foe should be day of his household. Okay, and that is something that you really have to contend with. The fact is that you're going to be dealing with people that are your enemies in your own house, that are your enemies in your own household. Okay, so things are going to get tough for that, because it has to be that great betrayal. There's going to be Jakes that are going to fight tooth and nail for acceptance here. They're going to go all the way out for Esau, or to bow down to Esau. Now we know Judah's getting kind of roused up right now, because they're kind of tired of the crap that these Edomites are trying to lay on them. A little sore stroke. Jake is getting a little sick of that, and these Edomites are thinking that they're just going to roll over Jake. That's not the way it's going to go down. Trump is a cruel Lord that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah has set up for you. So he's going to break you down economically. People are not conditioned to not having anything. You people are not conditioned to being in a low state in modern times. You people are not conditioned to trying to struggle to make ends meet, okay, and not being really taken care of. You've been taken care of all the while. You've been taken care of all the while. Yeah, you Edomites own a lot of swords, but in reality, and I'm talking about you low-level Edomites here, in reality, when was the last time y'all actually did something with it? Really? Okay? Jake them, they have been conditioned by Esau, because Esau will put weapons in their communities and stuff and arm them to the teeth to go and murder and kill each other. Now, what happens when the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, take that spirit and turn Jake into a terror? Okay, and we're going to talk about that terror that Jake is going to be. In fact, you know what? Let's go into that right now, because there has to be, okay, a reality check for you Edomites, because you just think like, oh, you're just going to just go there and randomly do what the hell you want to do like old times. You're not prepared for the nightmare that's about to take place here in Great Babylon, America. All right, so let's go take a look at that, what Jake is going to be coming here um, here at the Great Babylon, America, real soon. Okay. Let me get it. Let me get it. Get it right here. Okay. And this is the book of Isaiah 19, and starting with verse 14. And we bring it out all the time. It says, "The Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, mingle a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt, which is placed on spiritual Sodom and Egypt, to err in every work thereof as a drunken man staggering his woman." So every decision that's being made by your leaders right now, it's kind of like a drunken man that's staggering his own woman. Y'all see somebody that's drunk, they're incoherent. This is the reason why, when they see you driving a car, when you're driving a vehicle on the road, you're supposed to follow the rules, the stop sign, the light, brake, when appropriate, all those things, stay in the lane. But if you're being observed by the patrolman on the highway, zigzagging across the road like that, he can tell something is wrong here. You're not coherent because you wouldn't be driving that way. So they pull you over, and what do? They give you a breathalyzer, okay, or a test to see if you are driving under the influence, called DUI, okay, or DWI, driving while intoxicated. And this is what you're seeing going on right now. Your prince, okay, or your government is ruling while intoxicated. Intoxicated with what? Wickedness, abomination, all those things. So they can operate in the righteous spirit. They're not about the people, okay? They're about destroying everything that Yahweh Shemashai set up on this earth. Everything. The animals, the food. Animals are now gay. Okay? Animals now are sodomites. Everything. So you can see how this man, the food has no nutrition in it. No seeds to regenerate. Nothing. Okay? And people are sick. The men are now feminine. Their testosterone levels are low, so they're like women. And the women now have the increased testosterone. So everything is opposite because we are in an unrighteous system. All right? And it says, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail branch or rush may do." At some point in time, they have to crash this economy. And you got to brace for it. And you have brothers who have investments and different things. But you brothers have to always constantly have in the back of the head, it's all going to be gone at some point. You're going to wake up one day to absolute chaos, kind of like if you remember back in 9/11 or in 2001, when you woke up to the news feed of planes crashing into the towers and into the White House and different places like that, and there was a terrorist attack, and America changed afterward. And what happened? Prior to that, you had gas prices that was under $1. What happened to gas prices? It went up after that. Hurricane Katrina, that incident took place, and they allowed those levee to crack. And what happened after that? Gas prices went up again. The C-19 in 2020, what happened after that? Food and gas prices went up again. They just came up with this tariff. What happened now? You have permanent gas prices. Where I'm at right now, okay, gas is now $5.25. This is unleaded gas, and this is a low premium. This depends on what pump you go to. The cheapest gas I've seen so far is like $4.60, and you should see the line of people trying to get that. Now, where I actually live, the gas is actually $2.55. You see, this is how it's going. It says, "In that day, Egypt shall be like unto women, and they shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai, which he shaketh over it." The so-called white man power comes from his wealth. Now, your average, everyday, local white man, he has a corporate office, and, or he's in an office, maybe wearing a necktie, or he might be a blue-collar worker, or he might be a white-collar worker. His power comes from the fact that he is looked at as success. Okay, and this is what Eve is always attracted to. That's why they like men in suits. They like that suit and tie because that exudes success. It's Esau's uniform for success. Okay, now you take away that, you strip it. These companies start to fall apart. Okay, because decisions around the world is being made like what? Like out of ignorance, but it's out of wickedness, because the Lord Yahweh Shemashai has a purpose. And everything has to align in time. Remember what Esau is. Esau is just nothing but a hireling. What is a hireling? Okay, okay, someone that's set up to do a particular task at in a particular time frame with a particular outcome, and this is how this is working out. So it is going according to the will of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, and one of those things is the fact that He's to humble everybody, as you take away, okay, the ability to be independent. And how are you independent? Through commerce or through the ability, economic value. Your economic value makes you more independent. Your economic value makes you independent. So once you take away that economic value of people, you take away their independence. And this is the reason why you're going to see that fear. Suddenly those men with the doggone necktie and suits and stuff is going to be like jumping on the windows, committing suicide, putting a bullet in their head. And you know how these Edomites deal with it. And we don't even talk about these Moabites and these Ammonites. In Korea, man, they commit suicide like it's nothing. Japan, they'll jump in front of a speeding train if they lose their job. This is what's going to happen, because they're living under the rules of this place, which is like, if you can't be someone great in this society, then you're a loser and you don't deserve to live. And this is the mental state here, because people are pleasers of other people. If for us, when we see that loss, yeah, we're going to be feeling it too. But we have to understand this. This is part of the trials and tribulation that we have to go through, and the reward really comes afterward. Our reward is not this. We're still you have to constantly remember what we are here in Great Babylon, America for, and this is Deuteronomy 28, where we will be chased by our enemies. We'd have to go to Him for all wants of things. We're going to hate each other. Okay? We're going to probably come up with worshiping false idols. Some of us are going to be awake. Other of us are just going to stay asleep. This is part of that. But we're eventually going to be into the kingdom. Okay? And it says, and the land of Judah shall be a terror upon Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof should be afraid in himself, because the counsel of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemeshah, which He had determined against it. Okay? Judah is still going up against Judah. Okay, house of Judah, house of Israel still going up against each other. The tribes are still divided. So the 2/3 is not going to show mercy on each other or brotherly love, but they will come together for one thing, to go up against Esau. And it's going to be in a carnal way, because this is how the Lord is going to set them up to get put down. 2/3 have to die in one way or the other. They're going to die. But for you Edomites, you're not, by numbers, you're outnumbered. Plain and simple. You're outnumbered. 2, Jakes, them are very skilled. Okay, and you had one proud ass Edomite talking about, well, y'all shoot like this, or whatever the case is like that. And we don't ever teach or condone going and using the sword, because the Mashiach even told one of the disciples said when they used the sword, to defend him, hey man, don't use that. Don't you live by the sword, you die by the sword. This is going to be the judgment of Esau, but it's also going to be many of the 2/3, okay, and these other tribes that are going to go and do what they do best, grab that sword. So you Edomites you're not going to be victorious as you think. You're not going to be victorious as you think. That's why it says right here, and Judah should be a terror unto Egypt. Y'all are comfortable in those suburban neighborhoods, man. Okay? Y'all don't practice slaughtering each other. On top of that, too, there's a lot of y'all that are actually going to be joining up with Jake's them, because there's a lot of you that feel like you're not getting you from day one, you didn't get the so-called white treatment or the white privilege. You're a natural beast, so guess what? What do natural beasts do? You go into your beastly state, which is you're not going to be organized to come together. Now, Judah will fall, okay, and we can go into the book of, actually, let's go into the book of, and we can see how this is going to, this is Zechariah 13, and starting with verse 8, it reads, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord Yahweh Shemeshah, 2 parts therein should be cut off and die, but a third should be left therein. So 1/3 is going to be sealed. Okay, remember, roughly paraphrasing, says, don't come near those that are sighing and crying in the streets and have the seal or the testimony. okay? But the 2/3, it's open season. So how the Lord is going to do it? The Lord is going to allow them to just go and do what they're going to go do best, which is what? Pillage and live however they need to live. And you've seen the spirit of that on certain jakes right now. I saw a video with the Black Panther marching. Again, they're all dressed up in black with a Kango cap, beret twist on the side and marching with weapons in their hand, marching. There's a video lately about that because of what happened, I guess, with that Jake that killed that trooper with his car because they shot his son. So they seen this as a time right now to march up and stand up for that, and they're doing it more in a militaristic way. You've seen ISCPK doing militaristic drills or training, which is laughable. I'm going to be frank with you, it's just laughable. It's laughable, okay? It's laughable. And those brothers who have served, and especially brothers who have served in a position where they actually did the planning for training, when you look at it, it just looks like a bunch of little bunny rabbits playing on the ground. It's very amateurish, okay, unorganized, and it's like, wow. I hope nobody who had actually served in a real military force would actually is actually integrated with that, because clearly you didn't learn anything. All right, so they're doing that, and you've seen this pop up. So you don't think Esau is watching? Then you have Esau militias. They now join the military because most of them medically couldn't go join, and most of them, what they call it, they had criminal records, or they medically, or they just didn't feel like joining. But yes, still, they'll go their way to go out in the bushes and practice shooting and a target, with Jake face on it, and think that they are going to somehow be, this force that's going to come up against people that they think wants to come up against them. So all of you are in delusion, to be quite frank with you. Here you are, you didn't join the actual force of Esau, an organized, trained, financed organization that has terrorized this world and committed genocides in the tens and hundreds of millions, if not in the billions, okay, in a very short period of time. But you think you're gonna just go in the bushes or some parking lot and pepper spray yourself and make these cadence sound, and somehow you're ready to go up against true trained assassin. Come on, Jake. Come on, Jake. And you Edomites that are out there in the bushes doing that stuff, you're no different. But at least with y'all, a lot of y'all have actually sent racist, racist members to go into the military and actually learn the true tactics, war tactics, and then they come back and actually teach it. Jake them don't go through all of that. They just go yo. So it's gonna be something that the Lord is going to set all of y'all ignorant asses to go up and slaughter each other. It says, and I will bring the two parts through the fire and refine them as I will bring the third part through the fire and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is my power. Are we going to be tried? Through a whole lot of different things. Starvation could be one. Then you smell barbecue pig or barbecue rat or some other crap, or then you might say to yourself, oh, Yahweh Shemashah, I'll understand this. If I eat that, I'm starving right now. There ain't no food, there ain't no grocery store. You'll understand. No, it's not. That's part of the try and test. That's why it says many are calling and few will be chosen. Why do you think we're fasting right now? Why do you think we're prepping our body in such a way that we might have to face that and have to face it in this little pathetic flesh that we have right now? Not that what the Lord created or what He gave us is pathetic, but you know what I'm saying, it's not the glorified body that we're going to get. But we have to face it in this. So no, if you're thinking that the Lord is somehow going to say, you know what, I'm going to give you a pass if you eat that roasted barbecue rat that Esau that might have or Jake that might have during this time when you're going through that test. No. Keep in mind the Mashiach with that, when he had fasted, okay, that the devil came to him and was tempting him to turn stones into bread because he knew he was hungry. Okay, was tempting him to cast himself off the mountain so he could be caught. Basically commit suicide. He's tempting him. So we can have those type of temptation. One of those might be being thrown up in a prison cell. You're sick, you're smelling shit, dead bodies around you, Okay? You feel forsaken. And you're just going to keep praying and keep praying, man. I mean, there's just so many ways. We don't know what test we're going to go through. And that's going to be the deep test for the brothers them who actually really might pass the initial stage. A lot of brothers are not even going to make it to the initial stage when Esau come and come into a camp, or come and while a group of brothers, streaming live or whatever the case is like that, and kick that door down like that. And okay, you might have camps of doggone 20, 30 guys, and 10, 15 of them right off the back say, I'm not even part of this group. I only come up here because they drink beer and throw a little barbecue and stuff like that. So you're going to have this, and yeah, you got to be realistic about that. The dude standing next to you, Shalawam, Barakatah, how about you, you doing all this and hugging you like that, might not even make it past the first initial bomb rush of Esau. He might not even make it past you. All there with you every week for years. Might not even make it past that. Then the rest who make it, you might have to go through all those. You might have to go through some hell, and sitting in El Salvador prison cell, or Guantanamo Bay, or even someplace out here by yourself, or maybe you and another brother. And you all two supporting each other and have to pray day and night to Yahweh Shemi Ashai as your body withered away, you're starving, you're hungry, you're shitting on yourself, you smell like shit, your teeth rotten out of your mouth, all of those things. Some have to go through that, and that's just going through that. What about the brothers who might have their head chopped off or executed in public? Some of us are going to get that. And then others are just not going to be touched at all and going to be used to protect Yasharala some way, somehow, or the women and the kids, some way, somehow, to lead, to do something. Okay? But each and every one of us, if we're grounded in this ministry, have to have that mindset that you may be that brother. You may be that brother. You might be that one that's picked to go catch that man. Okay? To go catch that, to go catch that. And it ain't gonna be easy for any brother. The elder brother ain't gonna be no less of an experience for him going through that than it is for a brother who might be just start opening the Bible to go on the streets. You might say, oh, well, if he's an elder brother, he should know better. He can take that. He can get us out. He can take. No, we're in this flesh. Keep in mind that Yahweh Shai asked the Father, is there another way? And that's Yahweh Shai. So imagine us. If Yahweh Shai have to pray to the Most High, Yahweh Shai, is there another way? Was there another way to do this? And that's Yahweh Shai who fasted for 40 days. That's unimaginable. That's our king, our power. If he was looking for another way, and that one wanted another way, imagine us. Come on, bro. Imagine us. And that's sitting in my head, man. And I'm trained out in the world. I'm not going to go into my life, but I was trained. But that's something some of us are going to go through, man. Okay? That's a trial. And you got to remember that name. I dream a lot of time calling on Yahweh Shemi. In fact, I had one last night. Okay? Let's go, give me a second and make sure I'm recording. Not going to make it too long because I got to upload it, and it's not going to be, it's a little slow because it's not my normal way of it. Let's go into let's go into Jeremiah. Let's go into Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah 30. Let's go to Jeremiah 3 and 32. Let's go to Jeremiah 3. What is it? Jeremiah. Slakia. Let's go into. Actually, let's go into Revelation. I want to go into Revelation. 18. Verse 4. Because we've been told what we need to do. Like I say, If you drive around, it was a brother. What's his name? What's his name of his channel? He's out of Casey Prophet. I think they're out of Kansas. And he was talking about, you throw curses up, and you may throw curses on people or house or something like that. Next thing you know, the person win the lottery or their life seems to even get better. And you go, the hell? The hell? And you're throwing the curses in Paleo Hebrew. You go, what the hell? And when he was saying that, I was grinning because, yeah, I see that. And then he said that at some their life might look like it improved, like they might win the lottery or suddenly get new cars or all this other craziness, but that might be part of that judgment. They might create more enemy because of that, or set themselves up for the fall, which is what you're seeing happening right now. When we was out there like that, you might stay humble and thrifty. You might be that guy that everybody look at and go, boy, you are thrifty. You are really thrifty. But now these are the same people that are struggling like hell. They're struggling like hell. They didn't pay 15 years on their doggone mortgage, and their bank is still about to take their house. So they spent 15 years busting their ass paying on some mortgage that the bank is going to take away the house. They still have, they're getting a new car every 3 years. They got to have the latest of stuff. Overwhelmed with doggone debt, credit card debt, and guess what now? Now they're crying, and now you're living in a time of insecurity. I just talk about the fact that the scripture talk about there's going to be no job here in Egypt. These businesses are going to collapse, man. They're hanging by a doggone string right now. Okay, people are walking around nervous. They're not as, they're still putting on an act, but in the back of their mind, they're looking. Why? Because they see it. They're hearing rumors of poverty. They know it's imminent. Okay, but they have no answers because they have no hope. Our hope is great, because with all of these tribulations, all these trouble that's going to take place, all these plagues that's taking place, that means that there's a set of people, that 1/3 elect, that is going to be brought through this. That's a hope for us. So what sounds like bad news to everybody, in fact, is good news to us. Because that means we are going to see people on an everyday basis that are going to fall apart right before your eyes. And this is why we were given this. And I'm going to close out with this. It's Revelation 18, verse 4 reads, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out for my people, that ye be not partakers of a sin, and that ye receive not of a plagues." That's almost certain things that are sin. What's coming up next weekend? Memorial Weekend. Memorial Weekend. So Memorial Weekend is going about what I think the service members. Yes, so the current ruler of Great Babylon America is saying he's going to take away the benefits of his veterans, people who have already got maimed, okay, and hurt fighting, okay, for democracy or whatever they want to call it, whatever bullshit they put in your head. But now they're not going to be treated. They're no longer now going to be given subsidized assistance to help them out, because they're considered handicapped, okay? So you see what this man is doing? So that thank you for your service is out of the window, obviously. But they're going to keep the holiday. Memorial of what? It's really about Esau boasting, man. That's all this is about. The things that they have done and who they've overcome. So there's no reason for you, Jake, to be celebrating that. Memorial of what? The only memorial in my head is that you have us in slavery, man. You've murdered and killed us continuously. Or we can have a memorial in the kingdom. Now, memorial is when the Mashiach come and take us off of here and destroy Great Babylon America. And we're going to watch that again and again and again and again and again and again for all eternity. That's going to be a great memorial. Oh, yeah. That deliverance. But here you are, those holidays. You had what, Mother's Day just a couple of weeks ago. And it's always something new. Then you have the 4th of July, Independence Day. All of these, just every month, there's a couple of things. Oh, June, Okay, right after Memorial Weekend, they like to call it. You know, they had the Memorial Weekend sale and all that stuff to get you to go there and go in your kind of carnal way of thinking to go spend money, you know, that you don't have. You know, the parties and the barbecues and the fireworks. And then what comes afterward? 30 days of celebrating, they call it Pride Month. Pride Month of abomination. And they don't hide it. And you can have Jakes who are going to be parading, taking what was a symbol of the Lord not bringing back judgment using water, and using that, okay, as the banner or the color of their way of life. That abomination that the Lord despises. Sodomy. That's why this place is known as spiritual Sodom. Okay? Spiritual Sodom too is what this place is known as too. And we tell you, Jakes, do not go, do not be a part of it. Do not be a part of it. Don't even go and observe it. Now you have these other camps that go out there, IUIC and Wi-Fi and all of them, they'll set up camp out there. Why are you setting up camp out there? Why are you setting up camp in these parades? What do you think you're going to get out of that? What do you think you're going to get out of that? What it says, nothing clean comes out of something that's filthy. You can't change the ways of Esau. He's filthy. And neither can you change the ways of these people that want to follow the filth. All right? It says, for sins have reached unto heaven, and power have remembered her iniquities. So the Lord doesn't forget. There's a myriad of angels that are invisible to our eyes, that are watching everyone and watching the ways of Esau. They're frustrated because they know what we know, okay? Who they are and what they're going to do. And they're being frustrated because the angels are sabotaging all their works. Okay? Because there's a particular time, a particular place, a particular year, okay? And there's a particular mission that the hireling has to do to bring about prophecy. And there's nothing that Esau can do about that. His ways are the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai's ways, good or bad. Because the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai created both good and evil. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works in the cup which she had filled unto her double. And this is what you Edomites got to think about, and y'all don't like it. You are going to get that judgment of slavery. Hardcore tribulation. Okay? That is going to come. You're going to get it. And we are commanded and ordered by the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai to give you double. And I know damn brothers are waiting, boy. We can't wait to get that give you double. Lord willing, the lack of satisfied, let close, we give all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahshai Ba'Shem, Dash. Shalom.